Welcome to the brand new fully electric Porsche Cayenne. This is a very exciting car from Porsche, built on their PPE platform. This is a large electric SUV that isn't actually gonna replace the current internal combustion engine Cayenne. This is gonna be sold alongside that car. So for that, it is very exciting, and it has some insane specs. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys this car on the exterior and on the interior, and then we're going to take a look at the brand new infotainment system with the new Flow display that premiered here in the new Cayenne Electric. It's getting cold, and that means winter, and that means winter tires. And that's why we are here at Nokian Tires, which is also sponsoring this video very proudly. I'm really proud to be working with them. But we're gonna go here and I'm gonna get some new rubber, some new shoes on my Taycan for the winter season 2025-2026. So this is pretty cool. Here we have on display a few different type of Nokian tires. We have the Hakkapeliitta R5 studless winter tires. We have the Hakka studded winter tires, and then we have a few summer tires over there. But what's important for the season now and moving forward are, of course, the winter tires. Nokian made the first winter tire in the world more than 90 years ago. The Hakkapeliitta winter tire was first produced like in 1936. So these are easily some of the oldest winter tires in the world. They have so many years of experience. And the thing about Nokian is that their slogan is winter tires for Nordic conditions, because the conditions on the continent in the south of Europe, yes, you can have cold conditions, but here in Norway, in Sweden, and in Finland, it's going to be different than other places around the world. And these tires are made for our roads, for the weather here. And the thing is that I've had on my past 10 cars, the past 10 years, when I've been given the choice, you buy a new car, which winter tire do you want? And long before this collaboration and Nokian was a sponsor here on the channel, that is the tire I chose. That was my go-to tire after having worked in the tire industry and the car parts industry for 5 years, because this is one of the best, if not the best, winter tire for the conditions there. And what is pretty cool, if you come closer here, there's something called winter safety indicator here. So without having any measurement tools, you can easily see the thread depth. So 8 millimeters, 6 and 4. Nokian are the only winter tires, or the only tires that have this indicator for their winter tires. So which is pretty cool. So safety is of course very apparent. But these tires are made for snow, they're made for ice, they're made for the cold conditions we have here in the north of Europe. The tires I'm having fitted to my Taycan Cross Turismo are the Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5 EV, made specifically for the Porsche Taycan. That means they are more than capable of handling the weight and the performance of this car without having to compromise. These tires also feature Nokian Tire Silent Drive with silencing foam, making them some of the most quiet tires on the road. The Taycan is not the most quiet car, so having this technology is a great perk of these tires. All Nokian winter tires offer electric fit, ensuring the tires fitted to your EV have been tested for the extra weight and performance of an electric car. Lastly, Nokian offer Hakka guarantee. If you damage your tire and it cannot be repaired, Nokian will replace the damaged tire free of charge within the first year. With new Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5 EV winter tires fitted to my Taycan, I am ready for the winter season. For more information about Nokian Hakkapeliitta winter tires, check the link down below. And you may be thinking, hey Chris, are you somewhere at a ski resort in the mountains at night? No, I'm actually here in an indoor slalom facility in Oslo called Snø. So outside is gray weather, it's in the middle of the day, but here it seems to be at night and also winter. So we're here with this new turbo variant. We're going to take a look at the normal Cayenne a little bit later. They have one on display on the inside, but here outside in the cold, or inside in the cold, we have the new turbo variant, which is completely bonkers insane. So this paint color is called Mystic Green. really beautiful in the real world. We have these new headlights that, you know, borrow inspiration from the Taycan, but unlike the Macan, we don't have a split headlight design. So we actually have the headlights here within the DRLs, and I prefer that to the Macan look. This is just an evolution of the design language that we first saw with the Taycan back in 2019, 2020. It's refined, and this is different to what we see with the internal combustion Cayenne. So we have some graphics here, some aero here, and also active aero down here. These open up to cool the battery into the inlets down here, and also they close up to make it more aerodynamic. You also have the large radar down there, front view camera, and also this being the turbo, we have the grayed out logo. I think this is a very attractive front end design. With this evolution of the front, we saw first this design language in the Taycan. So the car we have here is the turbo model. We're going to take a look at the non-turbo model inside a little bit later in this video, but this turbo model is just completely bonkers insane. I think the start price in the US at least is like $165,000, or about like 140,000 euros plus. But the specs are also insane, like more than 1100 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in like 2.5 seconds. It is just an insane car, and like the fastest production Porsche to date, something crazy like that when it comes to the 0 to 100 kilometer an hour time, and also the quarter mile time. It is just insane. I think it's going to do that in like less than 10 seconds. So turbo badging here on this side, as you can see, and also these beautiful 22-inch wheels. I've been on a configurator, not configuring a turbo, but just an entry-level version, and these are the wheels I would absolutely go for. They are beautiful. So the car is quite big, but it's 4.99 meters long, and getting this car with, for example, rear wheel steer, it's going to shorten that wheelbase and make it much more maneuverable. And I think it is nice that they chose to make this car as big, but not very big. There are a lot of SUVs now that are more than 5 meters. Keeping this at a little bit of a shorter distance, I think is a good move, especially for us customers here in Europe. And you can be sure that probably in China, there's going to be an L version of this, maybe sold in other markets. Again, this mystic green paint color is beautiful. You have these painted wheel arches, the painted lower part of the door, and also the rear wheel arch there also, and the rear wheels are so wide. What are the width of these tires? 325s. That is insane. And also you can see it's not that of a tall vehicle. I think it's like 1.67 meters tall. So it's a big vehicle, but not being very tall. On this side we have an AC charge port. On the other side we have the DC fast charging port, and both variants, both the entry-level version and the turbo, get a 108 kilowatt hour usable battery and a peak charge speed of 400 kilowatts, doing 10 to 80% in less than 16 minutes, and that is just insane. This may be my least favorite angle of the new Cayenne. I mean, I don't think it's ugly, it's just unusual, maybe a little bit heavy, like in the weight height-wise. But I do like, you know, the active aero here, these blades that come out to improve the drag coefficient, to get more range. This new rear light bar design, which with this 3D effect with the Porsche lettering there, I think is actually quite attractive. You have the turbo badging there. Maybe these stripes, these strips are a little bit weird, because in other Porsches like the Taycan and the Macan, they've been down here. So I think that gives it visual height that, I don't know, it's probably there to break up, in the reflectors down there. Just makes it a little bit tall, in my opinion, but by no means an unattractive front end. It's just very different to what we've seen from Porsche before. Also, another part of active aero is this rear spoiler. So up front, we have a quite big Frunk that, if I remember correctly, is 90 liters. So not the most wide, but it is very deep, so you can easily put a big gym bag, even a carry-on down here. The trunk of the new Cayenne is surprisingly roomy, with a 781 liter VDA rated trunk, and that is impressive. This is not
Tesla numbers where they're just using non-standard measurements. This is proper VDA you can compare across other cars. So very roomy. Also, this has a trailer hitch which can tow 3.5 tons. That is very impressive for being an electric car. Now we've stepped into the non-turbo model. So I was told I had like more than an hour to film this video, but suddenly there's another group coming here at this premiere, so I won't be able to show you this car on the outside. But this is better than the car we had in the ski slope, because this has a nicer interior in my opinion. This is the optional upgraded leather package with the lavender color, which is kind of like a mixture between beige and purple. It is beautiful. So I daily a Porsche Taycan, and my Taycan has the upgraded leather. I think it's one of the most beautiful interiors in any car, especially an electric car. In my opinion, the Macan was a downgrade even with the upgraded leather, but this I think is an upgrade even over the Taycan, and that is impressive because the start price of this non-turbo version and also the turbo spec for spec is cheaper than the Taycan with four-wheel drive or the Taycan turbo, and this is just beautiful. So you have leather here on the dashboard, you have it here on the lower part of the dashboard, you have it here on the center console, you have the beautiful Porsche GT steering wheel. What I like here is that you have a lot of physical buttons. So you have normal mirror switches over here, window switches, you have a switch to adjust the steering wheel. It is very, very easy to use. The ergonomics are amazing. You have normal stalks. You have your cruise control stalk down there. You have your gear selector up here. You even have shortcut buttons for your lights, and also the suspension up here, traction control, suspension setting, ride height, your cameras, and then you have buttons here. So you have your typical, GT style buttons. So you skip forward, you have a programmable button there. You also have your audio here, and then you have your drive mode select there. You have this volume knob, and also this controls the screen. So this is the new Flow display, and I made a video when they showed the interior first that I was very critical to this, but seeing it in person, I'm the first to admit that I was very wrong in my first assessment, because this is beautiful, this screen, and I think the implementation, it doesn't look nearly as big as it does in videos. It's perfectly sized for the cabin. So you have this top part here, which is going to show you all your settings. Also, if you go into your maps, it's going to show you the map there. And then you have your shortcuts down here in your different menus. It is just so easy and intuitive to use. And you can see that these just stay there, even though when I'm scrolling through the different menus here. But if you want, you can also slide this down, and then you can expand your whole viewing experience to the whole screen. So this is beautiful. Applause Porsche. Again, I was dead wrong about this not being cool, because if you're going to implement screens, this is the way to do it. You also have a passenger display there. That's not something I'm a huge fan of in these cars. I would just, turn it off. There we go. And it's going to show you the radio. But I would actually option this without. Here you also have your physical array of HVAC controls. Again, beautiful quality. You have your temperature, you have your fan speed, you have your auto, you have your front defroster, rear defroster. Also here for your passenger. And then you have this scroll wheel here. All is very tactile and easy to use. So up front here, this is your wireless charging pad over here. And then you have some beautiful storage here. And then you have some cup holders here. And then you can slide this to cover that up, and then you have just beautiful details. This looks to be brushed aluminum. It is just a really high quality experience with these leathers and just the surfacing. This is a really nice interior. I can't emphasize that enough. Also, these comfort seats are beautiful, adjustable headrest. I would probably go for these instead of the sports seats. One of my biggest complaints in the Macan was the rear seat accommodation, because in my opinion, I thought, especially compared to the Q6, compared to other electric cars its size, there was little knee room and it just felt cramped. This though, this is a lot bigger. So this car, electrically reclinable rear seats. Can you slide it? Yeah, you can also slide it. So this is just spacious. And there's massive amounts of knee room here. The floor though, not completely flat. There's like a transmission tunnel here, which is a little bit weird. But there are massive amounts for my feet here, so I can actually stretch out pretty nicely. So I'm sat behind myself, 5'11", 180 centimeters. This massive panoramic sunroof. It is just spacious, beautiful materials. Also, there's no power now, but you should be able to close this with a peasant blocker or rear shades. But it's just really nice. You have grab handles here, and also you have this armrest, which, to be honest, is quite disappointing. It's short, and the trim here, compared to the rest of the cabin, isn't very nice. But it's spacious here, and I would not mind spending a few hours in the rear of this car. So there we go, guys. That is what we had time for. The veil is on the Cayenne. Again, for the next group of people who have just arrived with a bust out here. It is so insane, this setup today, but thankfully we're allowed to make a video, and hopefully we covered what you guys found important. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.